Hello to all my queers and dears, and welcome to the Farewell Nintendo Switch collaboration, organized by my friends in the Video Essay Library. I've been a big Kirby fan for as long as I can remember, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a game that I adored playing, so that's the game that I chose to celebrate today. Kirby in 3D has been something that the Kirby development team had been working on for a very long time, and in the years leading up to Forgotten Land, it was clear that they were focusing in on the challenge of transitioning Kirby's abilities and movement to a three-dimensional world. This included smaller projects like Kirby's Blowout Blast and Kirby Battle Royale, the former being a test run of Kirby's Inhale and platforming in 3D, and the latter a test run of Kirby's copy abilities in 3D, as well as hints of 3D gameplay in the Star Allies overworld. Kirby took a much longer time to move into 3D than almost any other well-known 2D franchise, with Mario and Zelda in particular leading the charge way back in the N64 days. I'm not going to go deep into the history of how we got to this game. I recommend the video on Forgotten Land that was made for the fantastic Kirby Appeal series for a brilliant in-depth exploration of Kirby's journey to 3D, but I wanted to set up the understanding that Kirby fans have been hyped about the idea of a 3D Kirby for a long time, and that there was a lot of hopes to live up to. Forgotten Land met that challenge with ease. Not only was it the classic Kirby gameplay smoothly translated into a 3D landscape, the ability to wield a wider degree of movement was also utilized for an overall more immersive experience. In my opinion, this is best represented by Waddle Dee Town. Waddle Dee Town is a hub space as it simply couldn't have been done outside of 3D because it hinges on being a space that can be explored in full as Waddle Dees are rescued and put themselves to work building the town's various shops, restaurants, event venues, and so on. The wider world of the titular Forgotten Land takes advantage of this wider exploration capacity as well. It is in many ways eerily familiar, evoking our own world with cars and theme parks and strip malls, but with these familiar man-made creations now overgrown with plants and wildlife and absent of any remnants of humanity, or whatever human-like species once lived there. Something that could simply not be conveyed quite the same in 2D. In the world of Kirby, it's also a key piece of lore connected to the Ancients, a species that had been built up for years as the creators of various relics and technology that caused all kinds of chaos central to various games in the series. The 3D environments gave fans a chance to explore the Ancients' home dimension properly, as well as include the series' classic implementation of genuinely horrifying concepts underneath the adorable surface, such as how the Ancients abandoned their home via portals that they could only create because of the way they tortured and experimented on a creature with the ability to create the kind of portals they would eventually travel through. Speaking of the horrifying reality underneath the adorable surface, the story is also great, using the new setting to introduce some very unique villains, and providing some standout iconic moments like Dedede's sacrifice showing his growth as both a king and a person, penguin, and Kirby just straight up becoming a massive semi-truck and literally just crashing into the final boss, though the latter couldn't outshine the phenomenal absurdity of Kirby literally becoming the halberd at the end of Planet Robobot. It did come close in my book. And, of course, the unsettling and tragic reality of Fecto-Forgus and our dear friend Elfilin, starting with the shocking moment of hearing actual in-world, full-sentence voice acting in a Kirby game for the first time in the series' history, and building up to a terrifying race against Fecto-Forgus's craving to consume and absorb all in its path. Oh shit. Is this how it feels to be Kirby's snack? That's a horrifying thought. Moving on. Until finally facing Fecto-Elfilis and saving our new buddy from losing his pure soul to the revenge and pain of his original self. But Forgotten Land doesn't stop at masterfully bringing the classic Kirby gameplay and spirit into the third dimension. It goes the extra mile and introduces new elements while giving upgrades to old ones. One of the biggest new features to be introduced was the ability to upgrade Kirby's copy abilities. this has been played with once or twice in the past, Forgotten Land embraces an almost RPG-style approach, evoking the upgrading of equipment more than it does the learning of new skills. On a personal note, I dearly hope to get a Kirby RPG someday, and I'm hoping that the fact that they've been playing with RPG elements a little more lately means they're thinking about the idea the way they played with 3D for a while before releasing Forgotten Land. Along with the ability upgrades is the game's main gameplay gimmick. Pretty much every Kirby game has one, known as Mouthful Mode. Mouthful Mode is another piece of Forgotten Land that takes full advantage of the move into 3D by letting Kirby fully envelop various objects and use his new shape as tools for exploration and, to a lesser extent, combat. Kirby becoming the shape of an object he swallows is another thing that simply couldn't have been done properly in a 2D game, as the ability to convey his new shape would be significantly limited. The closest they could get would be something like Kirby's Epic Yarn, which is wonderful, but that had Kirby mimicking the appearance and function of objects and the like, rather than actually enveloping them with his mouth and conforming to their shape. Overall, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a phenomenal evolution of the mainline Kirby series that feels like a natural fit alongside other Kirby greats like Superstar and Planet Robobot as a bold experiment that still keeps the core heart, spirit, and spark of the series at its core. It's about as strong a base as any for future 3D entries in the series, and if we know anything about the Kirby devs, it's that they're always cooking up something unexpected and fun. So there's no doubt that Kirby's future is bright.